So we solve inequalities exactly like we solve an equation. There's only one extra rule. Does anybody know what that one extra rule is?
Yes.
What is that one extra rule? That's a bummer.
One like terms.
We will do that eventually. There's one rule.
If there's a negative, you have to flip the sign.
What about a negative?
You flip the sign.
Go ahead and write it down. Ready? If you divide, I'm going to put slash multiply. That means or. If you divide or multiply both sides by a negative, correct. So again, if you divide or multiply both sides by a negative, you flip the sign. So less than would become greater than or equal to would become less than or equal to, and so on. That's how you know. Otherwise, you treat this exactly like a regular equation. You remember, don't call after midnight, yes?
Don't call me.
Don't call after midnight. What does D stand for?
Divide.
Nope.
No.
Distribute.
You.
Distribute. Do we have anything to distribute? No. C stands for?
Combine.
Combine like terms. What like terms do we have?
Plus 4 and negative 5.
Correct. So everything else will drop down. Minus 1 is less than or equal to 2n.
Minus
Correct. Plus 4 minus 5 is minus 1. We combine that. Now we want to add or subtract
Add.
the constants. So we're going to add what?
1.
1.
No.
Add 1 to both sides. When I add 1 to the left side, what is minus 1 plus 1? 0. It's still less than or equal to 2n. So now we multiply or divide to get the variable alone, to get n alone. Divide by 2. We divide because 2 is multiplying times n. The opposite of that is dividing. And then 0 divided by 2 is?
3.
0 divided by 2 is?
0.
0. You can write it like this, however, you will not be able to graph it. You need n on the left in order to graph it. So if n were on the left and 0 were on the right,
Flip the sign.
we got to flip the sign as well.
Wait.
In order to graph, we need n, or the letter, on the left.
Oh.
So we flipped the 0 and the n, which meant we also had to flip the sign. The open part was towards n. The open part is still towards n. That kind of thing. So when we graph, go ahead and draw a number line. How many points do I ask you to put? 3. So what numbers would we put?
0, 1,
1 and 1. Negative 1.
Yeah. So -1, 0, and 1. What kind of dot will we have? Open or closed?
Oh, close.
How do I know it's closed? The or equal to. And then because n is on the left, I can shade in the direction of the arrow. So the arrow's pointing to the right. I will go to the right. So closed dot and shading to the right. That's the answer. Questions, comments, concerns? Yeah. You mean like this? Yeah. I accepted that. I saw a lot. Some people did that. Some people did like this
What if you
weird.
draw the arrow past the arrow on the chart? Because I did that to make it like.
Yeah, that's fine. It doesn't matter. An arrow's an arrow. It means the same thing. All right, this next one. So remember, don't call after midnight. D stands for distribute. Does that apply to us this time?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. We're going to leave the left side alone. And we'll deal with the right side. All right, what is 5 times negative 6?
Negative 30.
Negative 30. It's okay, it's a Monday. And then 5 times 3m.
15.
15m. Good.
Sorry,
All right, so now, it's okay. Now we can do one of two things. We can either move 15m to the left, because we do want m on the left eventually, or, that would make us have a negative, or we could move the smaller m, which would be m. Which one do we want to do? Move the smaller m? That's fine. So how do I move the m? Subtract m on both sides. So 26 is greater than or equal to negative 30. And then 15m minus m.
14.
Positive 14m. All right, now we want to get 14m by itself. How do I move this negative 30? Add 30 on both sides. 26 plus 30 is 56. And it's greater than or equal to 14m. And then my last step,
We gotta
Divide 14.
divide by 14. We will in a second, yes. What's 56 divided by 14? 4 is greater than or equal to m. We do want to flip it so we can graph it easier. So if I flip m and 4, I will also flip the sign. So this would be the answer. Remember, the open part was towards 4. The open part is still towards 4. Looks good. So we're going to graph it. What 3 numbers will I put?
3, 4,
4,
5.
3, and 2.
Well, 3, 4, 5 sounds like a good plan. Open or closed circle?
Closed.
Closed.
To the left.
And shading to the left. All right, so we have like an easy one. This one's medium. And then we have a more difficult question. This one's only more difficult because we're going to distribute twice. All right, so let's distribute the 2 first. 2 times 1 is
2.
2. 2 times negative 4r is
Negative 8.
negative 8r is less than. And then negative 2 times r,
Negative 2R.
negative 2r. And then last, we have negative 2 times positive 3,
6.
negative 6. Is this negative 2 multiplying times the negative 4? No. It's not in the parentheses, so all we're going to do is drop down the negative 4. We didn't do anything with it. You don't multiply, it's not in the parentheses. We just leave it be for now, or for then. We distributed, so don't call after midnight. C stands for?
Combine.
Combine like terms. So let's combine some like terms. That would be that negative 6 minus 4. So left side stays the same. I didn't do anything. This minus 2r will also stay the same. What's minus 6 minus 4?
Negative 10.
Negative 10. All right, so again, here you're at a crossroads. Which number is technically smaller, negative 8 or negative 2?
Negative
10.
Negative 8 or negative 2? Which r is?
Negative 8.
Negative 8. If you're $8 in debt and I'm only $2 in debt, technically I have more money than you. So technically, if this were an equation, I would move the 8r. But that means we'd have to flip the end, so we could do that. Or we can move the negative 2r, in which we'd have to divide by a negative in the end. Which one do we want to do? Move.
8.
Add the 8? Okay. So add 8r. There wasn't a wrong answer, just so we know. Add 8r. So we have 2 is less than. Minus 2r plus 8r is 6r. And then drop down my minus 10. Add 10. 2 plus 10 is 12. Is less than 6r. All right, and then my last step,
Combine.
divide by 6. So then we have 2 is less than r. So when I flip it, what will that look like?
R is greater than.
Correct, r is greater than 2. Jack, how do you feel about this? What? Yes, sir.
I'm good. I got a question. So
Go for it.
this was gonna be on the test.
No.
Yes.
Like all of it too. Just
1.1 to 3. Yes.
We're just reviewing it
For fun.
For funsies. What 3 numbers am I going to put on the number line?
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. All right, open or closed circle? Open. Still open. So if it doesn't say we're equal to, it's open.
I just forgot.
That's okay. And then shade to the
Right.
right. All right. Inequalities, how do we feel? Good. Good. All right. This was not on your quiz. It is definitely on your test. Okay, I can only have so many questions on your quiz. So if u is between t and b, we're going to find the value of x and the length of the segments, blah, 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 blah. Let's draw a picture first. We're going to have a segment. What are the two endpoints of the segment?
U and T and B.
T and b, because where is u?
In the middle.
In the middle, somewhere. Somewhere. Not in the dead middle, just in between. Right? So we're going to draw a picture. Done. Then we're going to write the segment addition postulate. I'll explain that here in a second. Let's go ahead and label the picture, right? TU is 2x. And then UB is 3x plus 1. And TB is 21. A segment addition postulate was AB plus the length of BC equaled the length of AC. But we don't have those letters, do we? So instead of AB, what will we write? TU plus UB. Correct. TU plus UB equals TB. All right, so we did that. Now we're going to write an equation. Done. And now we're going to solve, right? So what is the length of TU? 2x. And then the length of UB? 3x plus 1. And then the length of TB? 21. All right. Can nothing to distribute. Remember, don't call after midnight. So D is distribute. C is combine like terms. Do we have any like terms?
Yes.
Yes. 2x and 3x make 5x. Plus 1 equals 21. And then my next step, subtract 1. So 5x equals 20. Divide by 5. And x equals 4. So it did ask for x. So we got that going for us. And then we just need to find the lengths, right? TU. And we'll find the length of UB. What was the length of TU at the beginning? 2x. So 2 times, which is 8. And then UB was 3 times x plus 1. So 13. How could I check if this was correct?
Plug it in.
Add them and they should make 21. And they do. All right, so you need to be confident with a written out problem like this, but also with a picture like this. If we wanted to write a segment addition postulate, meaning like AB plus BC equals AC, what would we start with here? Which letters?
Yeah.
JK.
2x plus JK.
Yes. Plus
KL.
KL
And J
equals
equals JL.
JL. All right, what's the length of JK?
2 plus
Okay.
3x.
2 plus 3x. And then KL,
5x minus 1
5x minus 1
equals 17.
equals 17. All right, we want to combine like terms if we can. We could do the 2 and the minus 1. What's 2 minus 1?
1.
1. And 3x plus 5x.
8x.
8x. It's positive. I saw a lot of people not algebraing correctly. Algebra, I don't know. They're not doing algebra correct. These are on the same side. You don't do the opposite, like you don't subtract. You do exactly what it says. The only time you would subtract is when you're trying to move to the opposite side of the equal sign. That's when you do the opposite. But otherwise, you're going to combine. All right, what's the next thing I want to do? Subtract 1. So 8x equals
16.
16. Divide by 8. X equals correct. Did it ask me for x? No, it asked me for KL, right? Find KL, the length of it. So KL used to be 5 times x minus 1. So now we're going to plug in. 5 times 2 is?
10.
Minus 1 is?
9.
9. Which one's easier, this picture or the other one?
This,
Really? You think the other one's easier?
Both are easy.
yeah, I was gonna say that.
Okay. What'd you say? Okay. All right, so we're going to graph and then tell if the graph is a point, ray, or segment. So go ahead and draw 3 dashes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Super hard.
Is it? Are you being sarcastic?
I thought you were.
What 3 numbers am I going to put on this first graph?
4 in the middle.
3, 4, 5. Yeah?
Actually did it.
It doesn't necessarily matter. I'm just going to put 3, 4, 5. The number that absolutely matters is 4. We have to have that. Right? What kind of circle am I going to have? Open. And then X is on the left, so I can shade the direction of the arrow. So to the left.
This is a line.
This is not a line. It is. It's a ray.
So,
Because it has a starting point, and then it goes infinitely in the other direction. That is the definition of a ray, right? A line would have no start and no end. Yeah. Oh, you won't see those. This next one, what numbers do we definitely want on our number line? 3 and 8.
segment.
And then pick, not necessarily all the time.
6.
And then in the middle of it?
Yeah.
No. 3 and 8, bro.
Sounds good. 16 is not in the middle of 3 and 8. What kind of circles will we have at both 3 and 8?
Close. I mean, yeah.
Open, right? So here's why I said it won't always be a segment. It's either going to be 2 rays where they go opposite directions, or it's going to be a segment where they face the same direction.
They're going to go the same direction. No, they're not.
That's a segment.
We'll see. So, is this written in a way I could just shade?
No.
No, I would need to flip it, right?
It's a ray.
Actually, it might be right.
Just relax. Stop saying the answers that you think that they're. All right.
It's a ray.
So I flipped this. Are we okay?
Yes.
Do I need to flip the second half?
No.
No, X is on the left. Okay, so first, we know one thing. We know X is greater than 3. So greater than would be going towards the 8. You don't go past the 8. Then we know X is less than 8. It is indeed a segment.
I told you. It doesn't look that. I never made it.
Wonderful. But sometimes it will not be a segment. I'm just letting you know.
Yep.
Sometimes it could be 2 rays. Yes, dear.
Next one's a point.
The next one is a point. What points? We want -9.
Like 8, 9, 15.
Yeah. But the opposite way, right? -10, -9, -8. That's okay. And then it is a point. Because all we do is graph a dot. All right? So you can put that down, but I still want you to look at the board. This is not on your paper. If I could go back and print it for you, I would, because of how many people who missed like this question on the quiz.
It made no sense at all.
Which one?
So sorry. We're working on it. Listen. So a lot of people looked at this. This is all in eighths. Ready? Looked at this. This dot is past the 3 inches, right? All right. How many dashes are there? Pause. How many total dashes are there between each inch?
10.
There are not. That's a centimeter. There's 16 of them. Okay, so we're talking in inches.
Well, we did 8.
All right? You want to round to the eighths. So if there are 16 dashes, that means every other is an eighth, right? We learned this? So the longer ones, this is an eighth, because this is 1/16. This one would be 2/16, which reduces to 1/8. So every other line, the longer lines, they're all eighths. So we said 1/16, 2/16, which is an eighth, right? So this dot is at 3 1/8. So everyone was like, it's 3 1/8 inches long. Does it start at 0? You should have a paper. Does it start at 0? It does not. Where does it start? Starts at 1. So we need to figure out how far 1 is from 3 1/8. How do you know that? It's not just 2, it's 2 1/8, right? How did you figure that out? What did you do in your head? You subtracted. That's it. So the number one thing people are doing, they're like, oh, this is at 3 1/8, so that's the answer. It's not. All right? When we use our ruler, we start at 0, but they're starting at a different number. What's the next one starting at? 2. It doesn't even go an entire inch, right? This is going to be 2 and some change. We agree? I hope we agree, because this is 3, right? So let's count every other. This is an 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8. So this is at 2 and 7/8. But does that mean this whole line is 2 and 7/8 inches long? No, it's just 7/8 inches long. All right, this next one starts at 2 and ends at 3 and how many eighths? 2/8, which we reduces to 1/4. Even if you had measured in sixteenths, how many sixteenths is it? 1, 2, 3. It's 4 sixteenths, which still reduces to 1/4. 1/4. All right, so how long is this line? How far is it from 2 to 3 and 1/4? 1 and 1/4. All right.